Hi, my name is Brittany Cascone, and today we have a remarkable story to share with you. A story centered around an unprecedented opportunity and a breakthrough technology Business Insider is now calling a revolution in every industry, from healthcare to consumer products and aerospace. Forbes is on record calling it the next industrial revolution. And CNBC says this new breakthrough technology will radically change the world, with the potential to unleash an estimated $8.8 trillion revolution, creating what some experts are now calling a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for those who understand what is happening right now and, more importantly, what's about to happen. Today, we are fortunate enough to be sitting with the one man who can guide us better than anyone else, a self-made millionaire and a Wall Street legend who is not only going to pull back the curtain, casting light on this breaking event, but is revealing the full details behind a $2 stock. A stock he claims is now on the verge of minting a new wave of millionaires across America. And considering his legendary track record, this is one event you won't want to miss. Now, let's welcome the one and only Mr. Chris Rowe. Chris, thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure, Brittany.
Now, from my understanding, you are here today to talk about a revolutionary technology and a small under-the-radar stock currently trading for just a few dollars you believe could mint millionaires in the coming months and years.
Absolutely, Brittany. I can't wait to get into the details of this massive $8.8 trillion event happening right now. Because you're absolutely right about this. I believe that the tiny firm that's at the center of this astonishing story could indeed create millionaires.
Chris, I hate to cut you off, but that is a really big claim. And frankly, some may be calling bullshit on this. Now, if it was anyone else, our viewers at home would have reason to be skeptical. But here's what some folks may not know about you. You have a near 3-decade-long track record of calling some of the most significant moments on Wall Street, going on record without a moment to spare, warning of the 2008 financial crisis. You called the rise of the longest bull market in history just days from the bottom, and even warned of the COVID-19 collapse, while at the same time predicting, often just days in advance, some of the most lucrative opportunities in modern Wall Street history by getting into companies early, before the masses, and just before they became millionaire-making stocks. In fact, it was actually you, Chris, who called out Amazon in 1997 when it was sitting around 12 cents, and before the stock's massive 154,800% rise to the top. Enough to turn a $646 investment into more than $1 million. And of course, yet again, it was you who recommended Tesla when it was trading for less than $11 a share, giving anyone a shot at over 50 times their money. I mean, I could sit here and go on and on about you. Chris, your calls could have not only made but saved anyone a fortune. But there's one call you made that I personally believe demonstrates why I've asked you to be here today. I'm talking about your big call in '98, where once again, it was you going on record calling out a $3 stock almost no one had ever heard of. That is until it made headline news. Chris, of course, I'm talking about your big call in Qualcomm, a $3 stock that soared a staggering 2,487%, minting thousands of brand new millionaires in as short as 12 months. Now, just normal folks who discovered Qualcomm on their own around the same time that you did. People like Rosario Mayalino, a nurse who turned a $325,000 stake into a $17 million windfall, landing him on the cover of Money magazine, all thanks to that $3 stock. Chris, these are without a doubt extraordinary calls. What could have been a real retirement game changer for anybody that is watching.
And that's why I'm here, Brittany, because when you get in on the right stock at the right time, it can change the way you think about investing forever. In fact, as far as I know, Rosario did indeed retire after that big Qualcomm score. And he was far from alone. As you mentioned, thousands of everyday folks had the opportunity, perhaps for the first time ever, to become actual millionaires, earning nearly 25 times their money in a matter of months. And that's all thanks to this $3 stock. So massive populations of major cities actually reap the benefits of that. In my archives, I have an article from the LA Times. The headline reads, San Diego benefiting from Qualcomm's good fortune. So the article discusses how over 1,000 of Qualcomm's employees, and probably just as many local investors, all benefited from Qualcomm's historic rise, just buying up local real estate, imported cars, and overall just elevating the San Diego economy with their profits from Qualcomm, from that stock. And you think about that, just in the San Diego area, thousands of people made so much money just investing in Qualcomm that the entire city felt the reverberations. A single company creating so much wealth in the stock market that millionaires were minted in cities across the country, causing their entire cities to flourish economically.
Now, I gotta say, Chris, those times are remembered well. You could not turn on the TV without seeing a remarkable super stock bringing in massive returns. Everything that was tech seemed to reach prices many analysts thought honestly impossible.
That's right. That's right. But unfortunately, a lot of those companies turned out to be duds. The companies that survived proved to be the real deal, and they continued to bring huge, massive market-crushing gains after the crash. So companies like Qualcomm, Amazon, Microsoft that we all know. And today, there are even more millionaires being minted around every corner. In fact, according to the new IRS figures that came out, the number of Americans that are reporting more than $1 million in income is up this year by a whopping 41%. Yeah, and as CNBC reported, 1 million new millionaires were created in the US just in 2021. That's nearly 2 brand new millionaires minted every minute.
Now, Chris, hearing that so many new millionaires have been minted, largely thanks to the stock market, this is great news. But what exactly does that mean for our viewers watching at home? Could you tell us about that?
In a word, Brittany, everything. So it's the difference between struggling as inflation runs rampant and seeing your hard-earned dollars just essentially burning to a crisp in front of your eyes, or witnessing the millionaire minting power of the most profitable stocks in the market. You see, the returns that are brought on by companies like Qualcomm are in the past. You can't turn the dials and go back in time and do it all over again. That's why I'm here today, to look towards the future.
Now, you mentioned before that the company you are here to talk about today draws some eerie similarities to Qualcomm back when you first invested, and that this stock could become one of your biggest calls to date, with the potential to create a brand new wave of millionaires in the coming months and years. Could you elaborate on those similarities for us, please?
Absolutely, because the similarities are striking. In fact, I'll go as far as saying if you missed out on the historical returns from companies like Qualcomm, if you've been battered by the recent market volatility, or just you're simply looking for a way to boost your retirement, this $2 stock, now flying under the radar of Wall Street, could be the key to it all. And the simple reason is because back in the 90s, Qualcomm developed a state-of-the-art technology known simply as CDMA.
And this technology is still used every single day today, right? More than 20 years later?
That's right. So CDMA software protocols are used in wireless communication. It's a technology that laid the groundwork for cell phone technology, becoming the keystone technology, creating the 3G, 4G, and now 5G capabilities that we see today. In the simplest of terms, this technology made broadband connection possible. It eliminated dropped calls when traveling between communication towers. It increased capacity connections, improved service quality, extended battery life. It basically made cell phone connection 20 times better, paving the way for the multi-trillion-dollar mobile phone industry that we see today.
So what you're saying is Qualcomm laid the groundwork for companies like Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T that service more than 300 million people worldwide. That's
right.
Incredible.
Yeah, and also laid the groundwork for a brand new wave of companies that went on handing investors market-beating returns. It paved the way for T-Mobile to return 164% to investors, and Verizon's 670% return. And of course, AT&T's incredible 1,056% return.
Now, it's clear to me that Qualcomm's influence spread throughout the market, revolutionizing the cell phone industry. But I think everyone watching wants to know how you discover companies like this, companies that explode in value. Chris, how do you do it?
Well, to put it simply, I dedicate my time to identifying companies with revolutionary power, Seeing the revolutionary power of Qualcomm's technology early on is ultimately why I invested in Qualcomm in the first place, because I saw that it was, number one, in a sector with demand and control. Number two, it had institutional investor money flowing into Qualcomm and the sector. And three, it specialized in a revolutionary technology that could transform several industries. And number four, solved a real-world problem, thereby increasing demand. And the company I'm here to talk about today is virtually a mirror image, except for one key difference. This under-the-radar company that I want to show you today is involved in virtually every single industry, paving the way for a brand new $8.8 trillion revolution.
Wow. Chris, I think I can speak for everyone watching at home that we are very excited to hear about this. So stop keeping us waiting. We want to hear.
Absolutely. All right. So I'm excited too, but I'll get into the details in just a moment. In a short amount of time, just a few $100s invested in this company could return a personal fortune. I'm talking over the next couple of months and years. It's possible that you could witness extraordinary wealth from just this one company. I believe this stock could make you 10 times, 20 times, or even possibly 50 times your money in the near future.
And honestly, in today's economy, seeing returns like that could be the difference between someone living comfortably and being left behind. With interest rates hitting 40-year highs, levels we haven't seen for a lifetime.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
I know. But the scariest part about recent inflation numbers is that economists like John Williams, a well-known economist featured on Fox Business and CNBC, he's estimating the real inflation rate is pushing 17%, nearly double what's being claimed by the government and CPI calculations. Either way, Americans are looking at troubling times ahead, and this one small company could be your saving grace. It could be the foundation of you beginning to build your wealth to levels that you have only imagined.
Now, before we get into all the details, could you give us a little insight into how you discover these moonshot stocks?
Absolutely. So unlike most investors, I focus on a very specific type of stock. Stocks that perform a certain way no matter what happens in the stock market.
And what exactly is this certain type of stock? You claim it can provide supersized gains in any market?
I call them hyper-stage stocks.
Hyperstage stocks?
That's right, Brittany. If you walk away from this presentation and remember just one thing and nothing else, remember this: hyperstage stocks can make you rich. So hyperstage stocks are stocks that show that it's in a sector with demand and control, has institutional money flowing into the company's stock and its sector. It specializes in a revolutionary technology or service that could transform several industries, and it solves a real-world problem, thereby increasing demand. By doing this, I've been able to identify stocks that return thousands of percentage points in a matter of months, or even sometimes days.
Chris, your track record is chock full of massive winners.
Yeah, and Brittany, I just want to be very clear here because there's a lot of people watching this. So these 10x or 20x or 100x winners, that's the high end of my successful trading ideas. Just like everyone, I take losses too. But these are what I'm talking about when I say hyper stage stocks.
Now, I think I could speak for everyone when I say I can't wait to learn more. Can you take us through your process? How do you spot these stocks? Can you take us through a few real-life examples that you have?
Of course. Take my recent recommendation for Plug Power, for example. A company not very many people had heard of at the time, but this company met every qualification in my hyperstage stock checklist. So number one, this company was in a sector with demand and control. It had institutional money flowing in all around it. It specialized in a revolutionary technology that develops needed systems for batteries. And it solved a real-world problem with electric vehicle batteries being able to only hold a charge for just a few hundred miles and taking hours to charge. So just 9 months after my recommendation, Plug rose by 1,710%.
To help put that into perspective for our viewers at home, during the same time period, the S&P 500 only returned 26%, while that hyperstage stock Plug Power soared over 65 times more than the market, delivering an extraordinary gain well over 1,700%. That's enough to turn a simple $5,000 investment into over $90,000.
Brittany, that is the power of hyperstage stocks.
I mean, wow, that's over $90,000 in just 9 months. That would almost double the average retirement account in the United States on just one stock. And it would quadruple the average 401k balance in the US.
That's exactly why being involved in the stock market is so important. Even when the rest of the world is fearful, or especially when the rest of the world's feeling fearful, if you put your money in the right spot, you can set yourself up for a comfortable life and retirement.
So let me get this straight. These hyperstage stocks are the key to finding success in the market and ultimately reaching financial freedom?
Exactly. And it happens again and again, like with another hyperstage stock, Arcimoto, another electric vehicle company. In just 9 months, my followers had a chance to grab a 1,222% return, enough to turn another $5,000 investment into $66,100. And with Silverbow Resources, that's an oil and gas company which did meet my hyperstage criteria perfectly. After my recommendations, my followers had a chance to grab a massive 1,123% return. That's enough to turn $5,000 into $61,150.
Interesting. Now, all of these companies sound like they had a dramatic impact on their respective industries. Plug and Arcimoto with electric vehicles, and Silverbow in oil and gas. The company you are here to reveal today is going to be much, much bigger because it has an influence in virtually every single industry. Is it going to ensure larger returns for investors that get involved today?
Brittany, that's exactly the way I see it. You nailed it right on the nose. You know, oftentimes companies either supply products or services to one or two industries. But the company I'm here to reveal today is ushering in a new revolution, much like the way Qualcomm did over the last 20 years. It's one that you're not going to be very familiar with. It is a hyperstage stock, and it's affecting virtually every single industry. Not just one, like the examples that I showed you. Each of those returned over 1,000% by influencing just one sector. This $2 M.E.T stock is now making waves in sectors ranging from healthcare, to automotive, to manufacturing, even semiconductors, to name a few.
I know you said this company is trading at just a few dollars in the US markets, putting it right at the same price point that you first got into Qualcomm.
Yeah, that's why I'm here today and why everyone watching right now needs to act quickly, because I don't think that this is a stock that's going to be trading at such a low price for very long. I mean, I'd be a buyer as high as $10 a share. And at the time of this interview, it's around $2. So I think that if it's going to be $20, $30, or $100, of course it'd be a buyer even higher than the current price. Let's say up to $10 a share. But folks who get in right now can get in for just a few bucks. I'll also say you won't have to meet any special trading requirements or have any sort of advanced brokerage account. Any old brokerage account is going to do just fine. All you have to do is open your account and buy as many shares as you safely can. And then watch how this one company could spark a brand new $8.8 trillion revolution. I have to admit, I move my investments around a lot, and I'm always invested in the strongest sectors and companies available. But this company has me more excited than I was when I first locked into Amazon, Tesla, even Qualcomm. And there's one key difference between this stock and the hundreds of others that I've profited from in my 27-year career. First, it meets every requirement that I have for a hyperstage stock. But there's one thing that makes this stock stand out among all the others. Virtually nobody knows about it.
And just like when you called out Amazon when it was trading for just, I don't know, pocket change, less than $1, at the very same time, not very many people knew about it. And if they did, they didn't understand how important it actually was. And now think about it. Amazon is a household name with more than 200 million Amazon Prime members. It's incredible.
And the same thing is happening with this company right now. If I had to guess, I'd say the only folks paying any attention are probably the most connected Wall Street insiders. Opportunities like this have been where I've found my biggest winners throughout my career. And now this one could be a turning point in our viewers' financial lives. Just like Qualcomm in the late 90s, this company is flying under the radar despite the fact that they just recently partnered with a $560 million technology company out of Japan. They've also partnered with one of the largest companies in Europe, a $90 billion manufacturing firm. You likely have several of their products in your home right now. And they have contracts with just about every industry from academia and research, aerospace and defense, automotive, medical electronics, medical devices, parts and manufacturing, as just a few examples. And because of their far-reaching capabilities, this company has connections and contracts in almost every continent and some of the most important countries. It could soon replace some of the biggest companies in the world as a primary supplier of dozens, if not hundreds, of different products and technologies. More importantly, this $2 company is on the verge of major announcements, which could result in a massive, massive payday for investors that take advantage today. Which is why I'm rushing this presentation to you, so you can buy this hyper-stage stock today before the masses pile in. To get the most out of the recommendation, you need to take control today. And the reason's simple, really. Every technology and company goes through an adoption curve that has 3 distinct stages. You see, this chart pattern can be applied to almost every single tech stock that has seen incredible growth, including Qualcomm, Tesla, Amazon.
Chris, can you give us some real-life examples of how this has worked in the past?
Absolutely. I'll take one of our examples that I mentioned before, Amazon. Looking at this chart, you can see that the vast majority of returns came during the hyper stage. For around 15 years, investors that bought shortly after Amazon's IPO were stuck in that initial stage, then spent 9 years in the hyper stage where the sharpest returns came. And now we're experiencing the full growth stage for Amazon.
I mean, that's amazing. So when a stock enters the hyper stage, that's when you can be virtually 100% certain that it's the best time to buy before the sharpest gains?
About as close as anyone can get to a guarantee. Now, of course, not every stock turns out to be a winner, but I mean, it's not like having a crystal ball or being able to see into the future. Every trade, every investment carries risk, and you should never invest more than you can afford to lose into anything. But when identifying hyper-stage stocks, you can rest assured that you're involved in the best opportunity available with the highest probability of success, with the potential to pay out thousands of percentage points in profit. The hyper stage is what I focus on, and it's why I'm here today, because Americans can't sit around and hold on to a stock for 20 years, waiting and praying for a massive price spike. I spend millions of dollars, countless hours every year to find the companies that are entering that hyper stage, because that is where you make the most money at the fastest rate of return.
Would you mind giving us another example?
Sure. The same thing happened with Tesla. As electric vehicles began to see adoption rates happen even faster than Amazon's growth. And again, as you can see, it spent 9 years in the initial stage. And then it spent 3 years in the hyper stage, where all the money was made. The investors that bought Tesla in 2010 saw share prices kind of hover around 20 bucks. But when it hit that hyper stage, investors saw 2,278% increase in just 3 years. And of course, it was the same case with Qualcomm. It spent nearly 10 years in the initial stage before we saw the sharpest returns over a 1-year period. So people that focused on the most recent hyper stage had the chance to see a 2,487% return in just 12 months.
Wait, so let me get this straight. As different technologies go through this cycle, the companies directly correlated with that technology almost always follow suit?
Exactly. Mobile phones went through the same exact process. It took nearly 2 decades for mobile phones to hit the mainstream. Once mobile phones hit their hyper stage, it seems that every American 10 years or older has a smartphone. And companies that provided mobile phones and critical parts like semiconductors followed the same pattern. The same thing happened with the internet. And again, after nearly 2 decades in the initial stage, and now after the hyper stage, nearly every home in the developed world has a computer and internet. It happens with every single technology without fail, even refrigerators and indoor plumbing.
Wait, even indoor plumbing? I mean, I've heard of adoption curves before, but I never realized how it actually directly affected the stock market and the pockets of those that are invested.
It's truly an incredible phenomenon if you think about it. The initial stage is almost the most important because it sets up for the hyper stage.
Sure.
But now this $2 company has solved every single issue. It's cheaper and it's faster than ever. It's more durable than ever before. And it can be used in virtually every single industry. And this stock is now entering that hyper stage thanks to its revolutionary solutions, much like Amazon did with e-commerce, or Tesla with electric vehicles, Qualcomm with mobile phones. It could reach its most profitable stage any day now. And when that happens, I believe this stock could see returns unlike anything else that I've seen in my career.
Really? You think larger than Qualcomm's 2,487%,
Yep.
Tesla's 31,725%, and you even think Amazon's 154,875%?
I believe so, yes.
Wow.
I think their contracts and their patents are going to grow exponentially, making them the most in-demand company in the country. In 2010, Tesla was the biggest investment opportunity that nobody knew about. 2013, it was Bitcoin. 1998, it was Qualcomm. 97, it was Amazon. 96, Microsoft. Today, it's the hyper-stage stock that I'm here to talk about, the biggest opportunity this decade. This is why some of the deepest pocketed investors in the world have been quietly building their positions in this $2 company as it landed massive partnerships that are absolute game changers.
Can you run through a few of these for us?
Of course.
Okay.
So a firm known for investing in the most disruptive technologies and with more than $14 billion under management previously had bought up more than 16 million shares of this. Morgan Stanley and BlackRock just bought 9.7 million shares of it. And the firm's very own CEO has been quietly stockpiling shares himself. Most recently added another 1.5 million shares to his portfolio.
Now, when a company's CEO goes all in, that really tells you something, Chris.
Yeah.
I mean, after all, who knows a company better than their own CEO driving the firm into the future?
That's right. And then there's an entire line of big name partners too. They've partnered with one of the most promising Japanese companies, tech companies. They've also partnered with one of the largest manufacturers in all of Europe. And they're partnering with a bunch of other different industries, including medical, aerospace, defense, automotive, electronics, parts and manufacturing, research, printing, and consumer products. So all these industries are just going to multiply the revenue for this little known company. But think of it like this. Every single time a car, medical device, aerospace, vehicle, or cell phone uses one of the products created by this company, the money will just keep coming in by the truckload. And do you know what happens when a company is used all over the world and their revenue multiplies every quarter?
Investors tend to swarm in and drive the stock price higher and higher.
Exactly.
We know that.
Right. And the world is going to need this revolutionary company's technology more and more every single day.
Chris, I got to tell you, this is blowing my mind. But I need to point out that we haven't yet got to talk about you. Would you mind giving everyone watching a little background from your legendary career that has spanned for nearly 3 decades now?
Sure, I'd love to. I'll keep it quick because I'm sure everybody's itching to find out more about this little known company. My name's Chris Rowe, 27-year Wall Street veteran, and the CEO and founder of True Market Insiders. Like a lot of people in my early teen years, I truly had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And to make the uncertainty even worse, tragedy struck, and I was bound to this wheelchair. Doctors told me that I would never walk again, that I'd never be able to have children or a normal life.
You must have been devastated when that happened. I'm so sorry.
To be honest, I only felt that way briefly because I knew that I had it in me to do everything that I ever wanted to do. Plus, I was very young. It all started at age 17 when I got a call from a childhood friend of mine. He wanted me to move to Manhattan. He wanted me to work on the phones, basically working the phones for him on Wall Street. So I packed up the little bit that I had, left Queens, found myself ultimately working on Wall Street and living on Wall Street as a teenager.
Wait, so you started working on Wall Street at age 17? I think at age 17, I was more concerned about who I was going to be going to prom with than actually working.
Yeah, well, working hard, running my family. It's, at age 17, I had a different mindset altogether. I was hungry, driven. I was ready to take on the world at that point. Now, I may have even had a little chip on my shoulder, if you could believe that. And that led to me starting a family, proving the doctors wrong, having kids of my own, providing the kind of life that I wanted for my kids, financial security. And since leaving Wall Street, I founded True Market Insiders and a successful money management firm. Working on Wall Street, making millions of dollars for myself and my former clients was nice, don't get me wrong, but I didn't have the opportunity to really help ordinary folks. So eventually, I wanted to make money for myself and the average American.
And just in time, too. You were there to help millions of Americans during one of the toughest times in our nation's history. Can you tell us a little bit about that time?
Sure, I guess we're talking about the 2008 crisis,
We
one of
are.
the hardest times that we've ever experienced in our generation. When Americans lost over a third of their net worth in virtually blink of an eye, I began seeing the warning signs and quickly started alerting my readers. And in doing so, I'm proud to say I helped some of my readers avoid the devastating losses that millions of Americans sustained during that time. I even helped them profit from the declining prices. So fast forward to 2010, we saw another systematic sell-off that erased $500 billion worth of value in a matter of minutes. It appeared out of nowhere, caught many analysts off guard, but only a small handful of Wall Street insiders like myself saw it coming. In fact, on April 26, 2010, I warned my readers a full 2 weeks before this nearly impossible to predict event took place. And then on May 6, 2010, the sell-off crushed the Dow Jones by 1,000 points in minutes, known as the flash crash, erasing almost $1 trillion in market value in an instant.
Wow. Now, more recently, I think you warned your followers about the COVID crash that devastated this country as well.
Yes, ma'am. On January 7th, 2020, I told my readers to begin hedging their positions so that they can have some cash to buy cheap stocks when the market does pull back. And sure enough, on March 9th, 2020, 2 months later, the COVID crash began to crush the stock market. I even made a recommendation to everybody for free to buy put options that went up 425% on the crash. So those who heeded my warning could have protected themselves while millions of ordinary Americans simply watched as their retirement savings crumbled by as much as 30% in just 2 weeks.
That's really sad. I mean, being able to see ahead of the time major market moves like this is more valuable than I think many of our folks realize. And on top of that, you have brought some incredible profit opportunities. And just in the last several months, you've managed to recommend what? Like 8 different stocks that returned more than 1,000%?
Exactly.
It's amazing.
I prepared this chart to show some of my most recent big winners. Again, these are some of my biggest winners. This is what I live for, helping everyday folks, folks just like you, navigate the market, protect, and grow your wealth. That's why I'm here to help you create a massive nest egg of wealth. And the best way that I could do that today is to give you my #1 hyper stage stock, because a single stock could change your life forever. And I believe this stock could do just that.
Now, let's go back into the important stuff. Talk to me about this $2 stock. I'm sure everyone is going to want all of those details. I know, Chris, I personally do. I got to hear it.
It all started when this technology first was created way back in the late 80s. Now, just like with the earliest technological inventions, there were a lot of problems with the earliest forms of this technology, like when computers were slow, incredibly expensive, took up entire rooms, or the earliest mobile phones that cost as much as $4,000, like carrying around a boombox everywhere you went. These technologies were not ultra useful. They were expensive. They were really hard to get your hands on.
You know, it's funny you say that because I remember struggling with dial-up when I was younger and terrible service on my cell phone. All of that sure has changed now, hasn't it? So different world we live in, right?
Tiny bit, yeah. As history repeats itself time and time again, as the technology develops and more people adopt the technology into their homes and lives, that's when the revolution takes place. Now it's like every 7-year-old in the country has a tablet, every 10-year-old has a cell phone, every household has a computer. Everyone at home that's watching this presentation right now, they're watching it on one of those devices. The technology behind the company that I'm here to talk about today has gone through the very same process, and now it's about to take over multiple industries. Although this company didn't create this technology, they are the first company to put it to worldwide use and make real-life changes. Take Apple, for example. They didn't invent the first cell phone, but they pioneered the market, perfected the technology, and they put one of their devices in 124 million hands all across the globe. And those who saw the writing on the wall had a shot at massive, massive gains. And Tesla, they didn't invent the first all-electric vehicle. General Motors did back in 1996, before Tesla was even founded. But Tesla revolutionized the technology, and they became the #1 selling EV manufacturer. More importantly, investors who understood this powerful trend, had a shot at 5,605% gains, which is why I'm here today, Brittany, because this is exactly what's unfolding today, right in front of our eyes. In the future, I expect we're going to look back at this as one of the biggest breakthroughs of our lifetime. It's not a matter of if, it's when this revolutionary technology takes over, simply because the world needs it. Our entire world runs on technologies. I can't even think of a career or a service or a product at this point that doesn't rely on technology. Even food, drinks, toys, stuffed animals, paper products, they all rely on technology for their creation. And right now, we're experiencing a never-before-seen shortage of just about everything you can think of. We're in the midst of a true supply chain crisis. Prices are reaching all-time highs in common everyday items to the point where some of those items are being rationed.
Rationed? Meaning that certain things have limits on how much a consumer can actually purchase?
Yeah, diesel
Really?
fuel is even on track to be rationed in the United States, which would leave our entire economy crippled. It's already happening in Germany. The Guardian recently reported that the rationing in a major plant in Germany could send the entire continent of Europe into crisis.
Wow.
When was the last time that you drove on the highway? Think of how many semi-trucks you passed.
I actually passed dozens on the way here today, now
Yes.
that I think about it.
So if diesel fuel's rationed, the supply chain crisis is going to intensify tenfold. Millions of products are shipped by diesel-run semi-trucks every single day. Every single industry is going to be devastated by diesel rationing in the United States. It's crazy. Everything from diapers to critical medical devices, freight ships that bring almost everything that we use from China are going to reach an even more devastating standstill. Look around your home tonight. I wager the vast majority of your possessions are made and shipped from somewhere else. Car manufacturers have been cutting production at levels that we haven't seen since the onset of the pandemic. Honda, which is one of the top-selling imports in the United States, they just cut their vehicle production by 40%.
Wow.
Kelley Blue Book just said the average price of a new car, which was $37,479 2 years ago, is now up to over $48,000. That's just in 2 years.
Wow.
This is getting scary. And this has dramatically increased the cost of used vehicles too. Car and Driver just reported used cars are up 30% in the last few years, primarily caused by the devastating shortage of microchips or semiconductors. Semiconductors can be found in just about every single electronic device, everything from microwaves to cell phones to vehicles. And CNN says that it's not just cars or food and gas. Inflation and shortages are impacting the cost of almost everything.
You know, it sounds like the combination of inflation and mass manufacturing shortages is creating the perfect storm for us.
Yes, the perfect storm is a great way to put it. For this one company, it's now poised to become one of the most in-demand firms in the world. In order to find a stock like this, you need to understand the full potential of the company. What real-world problem does this really solve? What global issues can it resolve? And what will be the economic impact for individuals, industries, and even entire countries? That's what I'm here to show you today. Imagine your car breaks down, right? You're just driving down the highway and everything electronic in your vehicle just randomly shuts off, right? You get towed to the closest shop, and then they tell you that a specific part in your circuit is absolutely fried. But the part that you need, it's on back order for the next few weeks because of the supply chain issue. And those few weeks turn into months. I've been dealing with this personally. But what if there's a company that could create a circuit for less cost and in a matter of hours, right here in the United States?
You know, I can personally relate to this as well, and I think that would certainly solve a lot of problems and frustrations in the automotive industry just alone.
It's just a small part of the story here, Brittany. This small firm can help revolutionize the healthcare industry, perhaps even save your life.
Really? How so?
As a quick example, imagine you feel chest pain, God forbid, and after being rushed to the hospital, doctors tell you you need a life-saving pacemaker in order to regulate your heart. But due to the semiconductor shortage, pacemakers are on back order, leaving you just waiting around for days or months with a potential time bomb in your chest ticking away. That's how serious the situation could become. But what if there was a company that could create the needed parts in a matter of hours, not relying on complicated manufacturing processes of the past, and able to fill orders back to back without delay, on demand, anytime, anywhere. The healthcare and automotive industry wouldn't have to wait for shipping and handling from China or Japan or anywhere else. So what I'm saying is that this $2 company could single-handedly help solve the global supply chain crisis and chip shortages because it supports the most advanced technology on the planet. I'm talking about companies like Toyota and Honda that recently cut their vehicle production by 40% due to the shortage of semiconductors. What if these companies could get their semiconductors in the matter of days instead of months for a fraction of the price? No ordering, no shipping, no backlogs. Just get them when they need them. Now, what if hospitals could get the life-saving circuits and chips that they need to save lives on demand, keeping people alive? What if manufacturers could create their products in a fraction of the time and at the fraction of the cost? That's what this company brings to the plate.
You know, this sounds like a complete overhaul for the entire manufacturing industry.
It really is. Something lots of experts are calling Industry 4.0 or the fourth industrial revolution. This company makes it all possible. Traditional production for electronics and microparts are inefficient and wasteful, relying heavily on manual processes. This $2 company uses a technology I call M.E.T, or microelectronic technology. It's a revolutionary way to create electronics and microparts that are digital from start to finish, creating the very same devices as traditional manufacturers, but 80% faster. So they're combining their M.E.T technology with advanced robotics to create the most efficient, accurate, and reliable electronic device assembly line. They have the capacity to create electronic devices at a speed that's absolutely unheard of.
How much faster would you say?
For example, as it stands right now, the traditional method to create semiconductors takes upwards of 4 months. So they can take the same output, or they could do the same output in just 2 days.
Wow.
So not only is it faster, but it's much more sustainable. They're attracting the world's biggest manufacturers because their M.E.T technology reduces chemical usage by 82%, 98% less raw sewage, 99% less waste, 57% less energy usage. This is why Forbes just reported that the new M.E.T tech could be a game changer for auto design and manufacturing. From a technological standpoint, M.E.T tech is more advanced than anything that's being used right now by the biggest electronic manufacturers in the world. So this company's tech is the fastest, most inexpensive, highest quality, and environmentally safe way to manufacture critical electronic pieces. So in other words, this company could potentially solve any manufacturing shortage, downfall, or any other problem that involves electronics.
I gotta say, I cannot believe I haven't heard of any of this yet. It sounds like this technology is needed more than the world may realize.
In my almost 3 decades of professional investing, I've analyzed thousands of little-known companies whose stocks are trading for just a couple bucks, but not one of them has had such a promising business plan that solves countless world problems and affects so many different industries. This company is quietly developing the most advanced M.E.T technology in the world, securing lots of lucrative partnerships with some of the biggest companies worldwide like Siemens, IPC, and SolidWorks. They have some of the smartest investors on the planet that are taking huge positions. So you have investors like BlackRock or Cathie Wood's ARK Invest, Morgan Stanley. They're all snapping up shares on the open market. They're taking their M.E.T technology to market, now contracted with the biggest industries in the world: scientific research, aerospace, defense, automotive, medical devices, electronics, parts manufacturing, industrial manufacturing. The list goes on. But in other words, this little tiny firm could begin shipping potentially millions of chips in just days from now. More importantly, the company is now in their 3rd stage of their business plan, making them the perfect hyper stage stock. Not only is this company capable of providing important electronic equipment for the next generation of space exploration, but it can make the most important electronic pieces that go into life-saving medical equipment and provide circuit boards and semiconductors for the most popular vehicle manufacturers and important electronic devices for scientific research, parts manufacturing, and industrial manufacturing. So this company, like I said, revolutionizing an $8.8 trillion industry.
You know, Chris, it sounds like this $2 company is changing everything we know about the manufacturing industry and taking away all of the problems that are actually associated with it.
This could be one of the biggest investment opportunities of our lifetime. Once all this company's contracts fall into place, the revenue of this company could multiply virtually overnight, shooting it to the top of the technology manufacturing list. That's why getting involved right now is so important. Because once this $2 company hits the mainstream, all the biggest profits that we see in the hyperstage stocks will be taken. So in case you haven't fully grasped the situation, if you were the CEO of a major company and you had the opportunity to lower shipping costs, lower manufacturing costs without sacrificing quality at all, wouldn't you take advantage just for the sake of saving money?
Yeah.
Not only that, but you'd be able to create more products, test new variations, and never run out of stock. You'd be able to reduce the amount of wasted materials, cause less pollution, and increase productivity at the same time.
And so you're saying that this company provides all of those solutions.
Yes. And more importantly, this company is the only one that can provide those solutions because they have 22 patents protecting their revolutionary M.E.T technology. For a company that has the ability to create so many different electronic parts and products, they need to protect their secrets. And they have done all that by acquiring 22 government-issued patents that protect their revolutionary technology. M.E.T technology being a critical component in the manufacturing world, this company is taking every step, every precaution to ensure that they are the top choice, the #1 provider. Think of companies like Amazon. They were truly the first online marketplace where you could order almost anything you can imagine, from everyday household items to furniture, and you could receive it in a matter of days instead of weeks for a fraction of the price. This is very, very similar. They revolutionized online shopping by making it faster, cheaper, and easier in every industry across the board. The result? 1 year after Amazon released their Prime Video services and upgraded their platform and expanded on thousands of products and grew their number of subscribers from below 40 million to over 150 million, and Amazon shot up 2,049% during its hyper stage. Take Tesla as another example. Went public in 2010, 13 years after the first electric vehicle was released. But Tesla was revolutionary in their model design, their price, their battery life, and the quality, offering luxury electric cars at a value that a lot of people could afford. The same thing happened. Tesla's sharpest returns happened in just 2 short years, with 2,278% in their hyper stage.
And the company you're talking about today is entering the same stage, but with one important difference. They're supplying something that the world actually needs.
Exactly, Brittany. The world didn't even need Amazon Prime. They didn't need Prime Video. And they didn't need luxury electric vehicles that didn't break the bank. The world would have gone on just fine without those. But what's become apparent since the beginning of the pandemic, the world needs faster and more reliable manufacturing.
Absolutely.
Our great nation can't rely on China forever. This country needs life-saving medical devices. We need semiconductors and microchips to do our jobs, to cook food, and to communicate with each other. We need faster part manufacturing. We need important electronics for our aerospace and defense departments. We need M.E.T technology to move forward. That's why this is the most important technology in today's day and age. And yet, luckily for you, or you watching at home, this $2 company is still flying under the radar. But that's all about to change. I fully believe every major brokerage and fund manager soon is going to be telling all their clients about this company. And that's great news for you, especially being here today. You're several steps ahead of everybody else at this point because you can start with just a small investment today and have the chance to make huge gains in the coming months. These are the kinds of investment opportunities that could turn out just like Tesla did with a 31,725% return, or Amazon with a 154,875% return, and Microsoft with 343,000%. Now, of course, I can't promise you that this stock is going to return over 100,000%. Those examples are from the earliest investors riding their stocks all the way to the peak.
Chris, what can you promise those at home?
I can promise this stock's in a unique position today because it's still trading at just a few dollars, and it's about to enter the hyper stage, trading at a much lower price than we usually see in a stock with this much potential. So with that said, I believe that it could crush the returns that were given to us by Amazon, Tesla, and Microsoft during their respective hyper stages. I believe it'll leave those returns in the dust, along with the most recent hyperstage stocks that are recommended over the last 2 years. Now, this is why the time to buy is right now, while it's still trading at just a few dollars. But as I already mentioned, the window of opportunity is small. It's getting smaller by the day. This stock could take off any day. And who really knows how high it can go? Will it go as high as Tesla did, that peaked at $407 last year, or Amazon that peaked up around $185? Even if it peaks at just, let's say, $50, that would be nearly a 2,000% return on your investment. But I fully believe that this is capable of going much, much higher than that.
Chris, can you tell those watching at home how they can get their hands on the ticker of your #1 M.E.T stock?
It's simple, really. I'd like to send you my newest report right now, the #1 M.E.T stock of the decade, Industry 4.0. Inside, I'm going to give you every single detail about this revolutionary $2 company that's revolutionizing the $8.8 trillion manufacturing industry. I'll give you a breakdown of everything that they're working on and how it's going to change the world as we know it. I'll also give you a full update on their brand new operations location in the heart of a US city where the smartest and most innovative researchers, scientists, and tech experts congregate. And of course, I'll include the name and the ticker symbol for this company so that you can get invested today, right now. If you act quickly, you can get invested for just a few dollars alongside of some of the most influential investors in the world, like Cathie Wood, who is currently stockpiling shares. If you position yourself right now, you're going to be in the position to take full advantage as this $2 stock enters its hyper stage. If you hesitate, this opportunity could be out of reach as soon as a few weeks passes. This happens every time a revolutionary company enters the hyper stage. And those who recognize the potential today and they take action right now, they could see their lives transform for the better. My early investments in Amazon and Qualcomm, Tesla, are one of the reasons that I'm a millionaire many times over today. And one of the other reasons is identifying dozens of hyper stage stocks over and over again throughout my entire career. And this is why I'm spreading the word to you today, because I want you to know how to take full advantage of opportunities just like this one. Because this stock has the price point that's equivalent to investing in Amazon or Microsoft in their early days, but it's just entering the hyper stage now, where the sharpest returns can come. And depending on how much you own, this could be the kind of investment that creates generational wealth. I would never advise anyone to place everything that they have on one single stock. And I'm not doing that now. There's no reason to do so, because even a small stake today could put you on the path to true financial freedom. Every single detail is inside your special research report that I call the #1 M.E.T stock of the decade, Industry 4.0. And if I were to sell this report, it could be valued well over $199. In fact, reports just like this one used to sell for thousands of dollars back in my Wall Street days. But rather than make you pay for it, I want to give it to you.
Chris, I understand you came prepared today to give away a lot more than your #1 M.E.T stock.
I sure did. I want to make sure that you receive maximum benefit for the time that you spent with me today. Like I said before, these hyperstage stocks appear all the time, and they all have the potential to return 300% or 1,000% or even 2,000%. That's why I want to give you my most recent watch list of hyperstage stocks. Special bonus #1, Chris Rowe's Hyperstage Millionaire Vault. Here you're going to have access to every single one of my live hyperstage stock recommendations, all companies that I believe have the potential to pay out tremendous returns in the coming weeks and months. Inside these reports, you're going to find companies that are involved in a variety of different revolutionary technologies, everything from inflation-proof stocks to LiDAR to the metaverse. All companies that I believe have the potential to return handsome profits to early investors. I could easily charge hundreds or even probably thousands of dollars for all these reports. But for being here with me today, I want to give them to you absolutely free. Now, Even if you're more conservative and a lot of the technologies in these reports might scare you a little bit, that's okay. I fully understand. But one thing that I want you to remember is that the internet, mobile phones, computers, and every other revolutionary technology had its naysayers. I would bet top dollar that you or a close family member said computers were just going to be a fad. And soon, they're probably going to disappear. Now look around you. But despite that, I have something else for you since you have been patient enough to sit through my entire presentation. Something that you can get invested in right now with nearly 100% confidence that you're going to see returns on your investment. Special bonus number 2, the American Tax Miracle. How to earn thousands of dollars per year with virtually no effort. You're going to be hard-pressed to find an investing opportunity as conservative or as low risk as this with the returns it has. This very method is the reason that legendary investor Warren Buffett, with a net worth of over $98 billion, pays less taxes than his secretary, and helps former President Donald Trump pay less than $1,000 a year in federal taxes. This report details a hidden mechanism within the market that is free money just waiting to be put back into your investments. You just have to know the steps to take and where to place your money. With virtually no effort, you can watch your portfolio increase regularly by buying this list of safe and high-paying stocks. Every detail that you need to get started is inside this special report. That's 3 reports in total that I want to give you today, absolutely free. Special research report, the #1 M.E.T stock of the decade, Industry 4.0. Special bonus number 1, Chris Rowe's Hyperstage Millionaire Vault. Special bonus number 2, the American Tax Miracle, how to earn thousands of dollars per year with virtually no effort. Free copies of these reports are already being sent to the thousands of dedicated investors who've decided to receive my research on a weekly basis. So taking action right now is critical.
I understand that you're opening the door for something very special for those who watched our presentation today. Can you touch on that for us?
Absolutely. I'm inviting you to become part of my inner circle by becoming the newest member of my flagship service, Sector Focus. So here's how it works. Every single month, I scour the market to find the strongest sectors that have the most hyper-stage stocks in them. I identify where the institutional money is flowing within those sectors, and I pick out the best hyper-stage stocks within those sectors before the biggest gains hit. So the first week of every month, I'm going to email you a quick report. It's going to have ticker symbols and all the details on certain sectors and certain stocks with the most upside. I'll also send you bearish alerts, ways to make money from declining sectors. So when you have some of the weakest sectors and some of the weakest stocks within those sectors, I'm going to send you an alert. It's going to show you exactly how to profit from the downside move too. Every single week, we're also going to send you trade alerts with 3 stock ideas and up to 3 sector ETFs. You'll know exactly where I think the best place is to put your money in a matter of minutes. My mission for Sector Focus is very, very simple. I want to help you safely grow your wealth, but do it as fast as possible. So I do this by spending 7 figures every single year on raw stock market data and creating algorithms that help see which sectors and which Wall Street banks and hedge funds are piling into. I analyze 2,116 individual data points every single day to figure out which hyperstage stocks are set to explode. And since starting Sector Focus in 2015, we've beaten the NASDAQ by 91%. We've beaten the S&P 500 by 442%, and even the Dow Jones by 642%. And I've brought some incredible returns to my followers. Normally, a membership to Sector Focus would cost $416 a year. That combined with all the bonus reports that I want to give you today, I could easily charge thousands of dollars, which would still be a great deal considering that I expect my #1 hyperstage stock of the decade to bring life-changing returns to those who get invested today. But I'm not here to gouge you out of as much money as I possibly can get. In fact, I'm opening the door to new members inside Sector Focus for a drop-dead low price of less than $0.25 per day. And here's the best part. A Sector Focus membership comes with more than just a few hyperstage stocks every single month. Every single week, you're going to receive Sector Spotlight videos. If you like to watch the show How It's Made, this is the perfect bonus for you. These weekly videos are where my team and I pull back the curtain and show you exactly how I identify the strongest sectors and the strongest hyper-stage stocks. And it's all written out for you in text too. I've already handed out massive winners from videos like these, like Sunworks that peaked over 320% since the release, or Fuel Cell Energy, which ran up over 1,200%, or Workhorse Group, which climbed an incredible 2,015% gain at its peak.
Now, Chris, we've gone over a lot today. Can you recap everything our viewers will receive when they join you inside Sector Focus?
Let's do it. Here's a recap of everything that I want you to take home with you today. Special research report, the #1 M.E.T stock of the decade, Industry 4.0. Special bonus #1, Chris Rowe's Hyperstage Millionaire Vault. Special bonus #2, the American Tax Miracle, how to earn thousands of dollars per year with virtually no effort. Weekly sector spotlight videos, and again, they are written out in text too. Up to 10 sector-focused trades every single month. I've never seen a newsletter give this many profit opportunities to its readers every single month. The sector-focused starter pack, technical analysis millionaire mini course. Get all my market-beating secrets directly in your inbox. Exclusive live sector-focused events, so you'll have direct access to other Wall Street veterans. Sector-focused educational library, all my market knowledge right at your fingertips. Sector-focused position size calculator. Never wonder how much to invest ever again, one of the most important parts of investing. Sector-focused hotline. You're gonna get a direct line to my team of US-based representatives. You're gonna get the private members only website. You're gonna have access to all your reports, all the trades, all the videos, 24/7 worldwide. As you can see, the value of sector-focused memberships, it's through the roof. The total value of this package is easily worth thousands of dollars. And I know that because inside my wealth management firm, my clients pay upwards of 6 figures for the same kind of guidance. Of course, all investments carry some risk, and our past performance is no guarantee of future success. But with all that being said, never invest more than you can afford to lose. I stress this to every single one of my followers. Risk management is the #1 most important thing. My success in the market is only because my strategy minimizes risk while still identifying the most profitable opportunities out there. And the money that I've helped thousands of people just like you make is the reason that I do what I do. And that's why a membership to my flagship service, Sector Focus, costs less than $0.25 per day. So you don't break the bank to gain access to the most profitable opportunities in the market. It's just enough to keep this message on the networks so that you can see it, so that I can help you make as much money as possible out of the markets. When you choose to take action today, you're going to be miles ahead of every other average investor. And you'll be positioning yourself to potentially see generational wealth from just one single stock pick. The best part, it's no risk to you whatsoever. I'm taking all of the risk on me. You see, a new subscription to Sector Focus is backed by a 100% money-back guarantee. So when you receive everything that I promised you today, if you, over the next 60 days, you decide that our research here at True Market Insiders is not for you for whatever reason, simply call our customer service team. We'll refund every penny right away, no questions asked. But to get instant access to everything that I've shown you today, simply click the button somewhere on this screen and fill out our secure order form.
Chris, I want to thank you so much for being here today, and I hope those at home are just as excited as I am. And I hope you take the steps to benefit from M.E.T technology that is about to change the world as we know it. Again, as Chris said, to access everything you've seen today, click the button on this screen, and he will see you on the inside. Thank you, and thank you for being here with us today.